Welcome to this briefing. The reason for the briefing is about the state of insecurity in Nigeria. A caring government, a responsive government, should have declared a national state of emergency on insecurity. The heads of security architecture, especially internal security, the Nigerian Customs Service, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Inspector General of Police, Civil Defense, are all sacked, dismissed, because they have all failed. Customs, immigration, they failed because they have refused to do their work in order to stop the influx of small arms and other sophisticated weapons into Nigeria. These things are just coming in just anyhow, even with the so-called closure of borders, which we will address, because the closure of border has contributed in about 25% to the high crime rate we have in Nigeria. That closure of the borders is part of the reason why crime is so high, and the government doesn't seem to care. Secondly, the primary reason why crime is high in Nigeria is because the policing institution has remained the way it is. This policing institution has remained a stumbling block to the demands of accountability. The police in Nigeria is essentially made up of some kind of, I don't know how to put it, but everybody knows that what they tell us is not how it is. How many policemen do we have in Nigeria? Have we had any independent forensic personnel audit of the police? The answers, the hijack, the deliberate importation of armed thugs by some officials in government and some senators that paid armed thugs, according to intelligence that is all over the place, that government has refused to investigate. With these armed thugs, when they hijacked the answers after killing peaceful protesters and taking over the stage, the armed thugs started attacking warehouses. A very destructive activity, but it has one positivity. The positive thing about what happened after the peaceful protests to call for an end to police brutality is that now Nigerians know that we don't have a police. The claims that there are policemen all over the place is not true. If there were policemen, where were the policemen when even youth that were not even holding stick, ordinary stick, most of the people who were, okay, if there were policemen, how come that even the hoodlums, so-called hoodlums that were attacking the warehouses, looting, were able to do all these things, and nobody could account for the whereabouts of the police? Where did they go to? And of course, these claims that there are police people, Nigeria would have lost a lot of money by way of payment of salaries. So there is a problem of ghost police in Nigeria. It should be investigated. We don't want to follow the through path towards finding a lasting solution to our problem. The major crisis of security we have in Nigeria is because there are a lot of lies they tell us about the number of people that have been recruited as police people. Let us know how many police people we have. Where are they? What are they doing? We are calling for a personnel audit. Regrettably, we don't have a vibrant National Assembly. National Assembly has gone into comatose because of the fact that we do not have security in Nigeria any longer, and because of the fact that the government has refused to comply by the constitutional provision in section 14(2)(b) that says the primary duty of government is to secure you and I. Government has failed, and yet the government is just there, and Nigerians are not demanding accountability. A lot of people have been kidnapped from Abuja, yet we have a commissioner of police. Look, there is a collapse of principle of responsibilities. People are given responsibilities to do, and it's like they are paid to be irresponsible. When you have DSS directors in the states, when you have commissioners of police in the states, and you have these high crime rates, what is the commissioner still doing? Why not fire the commissioner and replace the commissioner and bring a much more competent person to head? Why is the commissionership appointment into the to these state commands? Why is it becoming like a commercial thing? It's a business for the guys on top. It shouldn't be so. Do they care about us? Do they care about you and I? That's why people are being kidnapped. The other time, the people who were kidnapped in Kaduna, some of their relatives went to pay ransoms, and the security people who saw them prayed for them. We're wishing them good luck. What kind of a country is this? But the primary responsibility of internal security is that of in fact, the soldiers, the military people are being overlabored. The military men are being overused. What they're using them for is not why they are recruited. You don't really recruit a policeman, a soldier to be standing on a checkpoint checking for somebody who is carrying Indian hemp. That's not the work of the soldier, to catch Indian hemp smokers or to look for where a group of people are sitting down doing meetings. You arrest them, you say they're IPOB, or you say they're this, that. That's not the job of the soldiers. These are jobs. There are people who are supposed to have that job. The DSS is there. If there is a threat to national security, it's for the DSS to do their job. If there's a threat to internal security, the type we have, failure of law enforcement mechanism in Nigeria has collapsed on our heads. Unfortunately, it is a fact that the man of the year in Nigeria is a cow. How is it a cow? Why does the current government pay so much? The president himself has said a lot of things trying to protect the interests of herdsmen to the detriment of farmers, the detriment of everybody. The whole of Abuja is full of cows all over the place. You cannot feel free to go to your house. You see cows everywhere. Cows are all over the place in Nigeria. So this problem of giving so much recognition to cows to the detriment of human life is something that Nigerians really have to speak about. Mr. President does not have the right to take the lands of Nigerians and give it to people who rear cows. People who rear cows should go and get money and buy land and rear the cows. They should set up ranches. That's how civilized people do things. Do we have to continue to live like primitive people when we are modern people, when we live in the modern day, 21st century Nigerians, and yet we still operate like people who live in the primitive? In fact, we are even behaving like people who lived earlier than Adam and Eve. This is not acceptable. Mr. President should leave cows alone and protect Nigerians. That is what we are saying. Nigerians no longer sleep with their two eyes closed. Community will do to force this government to wake up. I think every right-thinking Nigerian should pray for members of the international community to take such action, because unfortunately we no longer have any hope on the ICC. ICC is compromised heavily. They're not doing anything. We have about 4 petitions we sent to ICC. One of them, we got a communication back from them. I think the media at that time reported it about 2 years or 3 years ago. And that is the end of it. You send petitions to ICC, they don't prosecute, they don't investigate, they don't do anything. The people, maybe they sneak into Abuja and collect bags of dollars and go away. And that is just the end of it. And the only way maybe the government can be forced to act is if the British still love Nigeria, they can impose sanctions on individuals. They have been paraded before the media. And the Attorney General told us that he cannot prosecute them because he doesn't have the case file. Is it my grandfather in the village that will build a case file for the Attorney General to prosecute them? Or what about the Attorney Generals of the states? What is really happening in Nigeria? What is happening in Nigeria? Even the few that were arrested, like this guy man that was arrested, and the people who rescued him, some of them are military people. They killed policemen to date. They're just playing politics with the prosecution of those guys. You arrest bandits. The state governors keep negotiating with bandits, keep giving them bribes, buying them, giving them money in order for them to start banditry, and they're not stopping. The banditry continues in the country, and half of the country is in a state of civil war. One of the solutions we're saying is that justice delivery system must be hastened. The court system is severely impeded by some human factors of corruption, bureaucratic bottlenecks, and poor or compromised investigative and prosecutorial activities. Law enforcement has actually collapsed throughout Nigeria. The entire internal security architecture should be reorganized. All the heads have failed, such as the Nigerian Immigration Service, the National Nigerian Customs Service, the Civil Defense, and the police. The National Assembly has deliberately no longer do oversight duties responsibly, but are mostly hustling for contracts and job slots in the ministries, which is why they are at war with Festus Keyamo over some 774,000 laborers' job. Nigeria should know exactly how many policemen we have in a given area in Nigeria. As it is, there is the need for a thorough personnel audit of the police to ascertain if truly we do have police where they are needed. Restructure crime-fighting models to adopt technologies to fight crime. You know, CCTV is quite very important in fighting crime. That is one of the things civilized countries use to track criminals, because we have a whistleblower policy in the country. In Nigeria now, the riskiest thing to do is to do whistleblowing. In fact, it is safer for you when you see a crime being committed to just close your eyes and walk away, because the moment you report a crime before the police will tell the criminal, somebody is saying you are stealing, are you actually stealing? This person in number so and so said you are stealing. It is actually happening. It is no longer Nollywood stories. People who report crimes get arrested. People who report scandals in CBN, who report scandals in different government offices, they are afraid for their life. They don't sleep. Some of us don't sleep with our two eyes closed any longer. As we speak, I'm sure every day in Abuja, every day in Lagos, every day in Owerri, every day in Anambra, at least ₦1 billion disappears into somebody's pocket, and nobody is saying anything about it. Have you asked yourself, why is it possible for kidnappers to negotiate and collect ransoms, and the CBN does not have the capacity to trace where those ransoms are paid? Because most of this money, you cannot hide it. Even if you're a Fulani man that lives in Eruga, if you live in Eruga, you must keep money in the bank. So how come CBN does not trace some of these suspicious transactions that go in? But the CBN governor knows where the money that was used for NSAS protests were domiciled. What kind of society is this? You have a CBN governor who is like a political attack dog of Mr. President, and you have kidnappers kidnapping everybody all the time. If you're lucky, your people are able to mobilize money, they will get you out. The monies will be paid into the banking system, and the CBN cannot trace them. CBN is even, their own problem is even secondary. What about NCC, Communication Commission? What about NCC? Why is NCC not working? And the man who has been DG or whoever you call him, no, I think executive vice chairman or whatever he is, he's been appointed like 2 times, and we have had over 100 cases of kidnappings and negotiations that take place all the time, and nobody is being arrested. Only one person in the police has been doing wonders. Just one, but I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he has gone to leave. Only one person has the capacity to arrest. The one that arrested the kidnapper in Lagos. What's his name? The billionaire kidnapper. That Kerry is just the only person. Maybe Kerry has gone on leave. So once he goes on leave, nobody detects where those negotiations are taking place, and yet you have an institution where billions of dollars are sunk. The amount of money that are generated by NCC, if they open the vote and share it to Nigerians, every Nigerian will get like 1 million naira. They have a lot of funds in that place. They have a lot of technology in that place. What is happening with the technology they have? Why are they not telling us where kidnappers are keeping people? And what is happening with drones? Is it that Nigeria does not have human capacity to build drones? Everywhere people are developing drones. Drone technology is growing everywhere. Why is Nigeria not using drone technology to trace criminals? I've talked about the CCTV issue. So, as long as Nigeria does not want to invest in technologies for crime will continue. The poorest man in the house, like call it this house now, the poorest man in this house can go to bed without dinner, and he wakes up with a Lamborghini. And everybody claps for him, everybody says, congratulations. That's how Nigerians are. We're not serious. Our culture has been bastardized. The culture of demanding accountability has been bastardized. Because accountability is not just an English term. It's something that is original with us in our tradition. When you steal in those days and you bring it, you go and steal bicycle and you drive it to the house, your father will ask you, who gave you this bicycle? Take it back. Or your father will even take it and throw it away, or even report it to the police. That is what was happening in those days. Doesn't mean that as soon as those our fathers died, doesn't mean those cultures have died with them. Then I think this government's method of appointing the northern Muslims to head all internal security architectures is the reason why you have a lot of security issues all over the place. Why can't government appoint professionals, not minding where they come from? Somebody must not be an Igbo man, must not be an Hausa man, must not be a Fulani in order for him to serve in a particular government. You must respect the Constitution. The federal character principle of the Constitution says you have to democratize the job, look for people who have competencies in all fields. They are all over the place, all over the country. You give them the job. Those who have the capacity to do the job, they will do the job. You give the job to somebody because he's your brother, because you attend the same mosques together, he won't be able to stop people from bringing in arms. Then you have a government that is rather spending money to take care of the economy of the neighboring country of Niger rather than the economy of Nigeria. This is the cause of crime in Nigeria, and we have to address all these fundamentals before we get it right. Because if we just stay at the surface, you're talking about the surface without addressing the root cause of crime in Nigeria, we are simply wasting our time. Thank you.